Alright, YouTube, what is up, and welcome back to Brutal Strength Day 270. So, this is only 5 kg of my best 3 reps squat with the safe squat bar. This was 170 kg for 3. My best is 175, which is, when was that, like 1 year ago, around that, and maybe in the beginning of June, before the hamstring tear. So a lot of progress within that 1 year, especially considering, as I said in the last video, that these few weeks have not been been the greatest. But yeah, the goal is to be able to move 157 and a half with the same speed as 150 in the last block. So you can see here what I'm focusing on more. It's taking a little bit of a pause at the top and to really reorganize myself and treat every rep like a single. That is the main focus on this squat. And then for some sets, I'm really focusing a lot on just doing the 5 reps as fast as possible, just straight up and down, and then trying to time that. And then I take notes and look through the videos to see if I'm beating the fastest time I've ever done. So I'm taking note of whether I'm beating the fastest time I've done on a fast 5 rep set, and on the other sets where I'm doing them with a little bit of a pause at the top, I'm taking notes of whether I'm beating the fastest rep I've ever done with that set, and then I'm using that as a sign of progression on my easy days, so that even though I'm not training extremely hard, I can still have some sign of progression being shown. Now, I have to say that floor presses, in my opinion, they are absolutely goated. And I don't think a lot of people do them enough. The great thing about floor presses is that you get a lot of stability because, well, your whole body is on the floor. You make sure that 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 you don't have the chance, like on a bench that is not wide enough, and your shoulders are sticking out to the side and things like that. Here you're getting full stability. Now I also lie with my legs wide just to have a wider surface, but it's basically like a Larsen press when you're doing a floor press, um, because you can't push down with your quads at all, and the range of motion when you start to get up around my leverages at least, then it becomes almost the same range of motion as a normal bench. So it's not that much less range of motion. If you're smaller, it's obviously gonna be less range of motion because you have smaller chest, less fat. So that for you, then if you're not my weight, maybe you're 75 kg, 80 kg, and you're doing this, you might notice that there's quite a big drop off in range of motion, which is totally normal because as we get, it's not, bench press is not just about getting stronger, it's also about leverages. And as you get bigger, not only are you able to lift more weight because mass moves mass, but you also get better leverages, so you have less range of motion, which is why a lot of people become stronger just from basically getting heavier and building up some more mass. And then I also just try to, again, keep the close grip and pause it at the bottom because I feel like it doesn't really make sense to not pause a floor press at the bottom. I think it's a good idea to use the fact that you're getting the elbows down on something, or getting the upper arms down on the floor, to actually pause and take away all momentum and then push back up. So this was 5x5 with 115, and hopefully next week I can get 5x5 with 125, as that would be an extremely big PR. Now, end it here with lateral raises. a couple sets of 15 with 14 kg, and then a set of 12, I believe, if I remember correctly. So this actually gave quite a big pump. I'm focusing more, as I said in the last video where I did lateral raises, on always keeping the dumbbell out in front of me instead of lifting more on top of me, because I find that it keeps more tension in constantly and gives a better pump, and I get more out of less weight. So, and as I've mentioned before, with everything I do that is not directed about strength, so that is not my ring chin-ups, that is not my squat, my 30 Jefferson curl, my bench, everything else, I try to keep it controlled and with good form, get more out of less weight. So I do isolated things in my preacher curl, in my incline curls especially. You'll see how slow and controlled I do them. You can see it here in this, how controlled I do the eccentric and increase the range of motion and try to make it as hard as I can with least possible weight. The same when I do my one arm pull downs. So always in your bodybuilding accessory things, try to get more out of less weight, in my opinion, as you're just gonna get less fatigued overall, and you can actually train it more often and with higher rear when you're not swinging your body around. So that is gonna be all for Brute Strength Day 270, and I'll see you all for the next one.